So guys, here we are again, last episode of this 100 most important topic of environment and ecology. I hope you must have watched all those previous episodes and must be getting, the importance of all those points. I tried my best to keep it short, however, very targeted and very, in-depth explanatory to the extent possible, taking help of PYQs, giving you practice question and every best of, my capabilities. So if you really, getting this thing, let me know that in the comment. So, chalo, what is now lying for us today in this discussion? We are going to have discussion on this process of SAIME, what the Bangladesh government along with other NGOs has initiated a very mangrove conservation project we shall be looking for. Then what is the concept of planetary boundaries invented in 2009, and it is a very red mark alert sign like we discussed already there in the climate tipping point like conditions. Okay. Then desalination technology, because in the Israel-Iran-America war will find the frequent attacks on desalination technology and its environmental impacts are highly repeated and focused. So we shall in a quick discuss this thing. National geothermal energy policy, very important from the perspective of this environment and this domain. Then UPOV, so how this international organization for the new plant varieties is now working and and promoting new innovative practices, new plant varieties for the fulfillment of society societal dreams and this thing. Great Nicobar Island project, a very landmark, guys. That is a very 25-year long project, 2047 it is for, and again aspirations of India's a very superpower. Okay. Environment flow, what this concept e-flow as well. De-extinction, that colossal company that you must be aware about, dire wolf or woolly mammoth hai. Then ocean darkening, and the last India International Conference on Disaster Resilient Infrastructure. So we shall be discussing all this point here, right? And every question will be discussing connection to this topic, right? So watch it till the end. You will have for sure better clarity on it. Now, practice question first. They are submitted under Paris Agreement. Yes, 2015-21 agreement, COP, and updated every 5 years. Yes, updated every 5 years. They are legally binding. They are basically not legally binding. Okay, so it wasn't, they are not legally binding. So answer basically you must be 2 and 3. Okay. Next, the net zero framework for global shipping is primarily developed by IMO, International Maritime Organization. Then which of the following are applications of CCU, carbon capture and utilization? Synthetic fuels, aviation, and this way. Carbonated beverages, enhanced oil recovery. Okay. So enhanced means industries itself. You will find 1, 2 and next. Methane is potent greenhouse gas because it has higher warming potential than CO2 and it remains in the atmosphere longer, no shorter than that. So answer is 1 only. Then glacier lake in the Himalayas can lead to glacier lake outburst flood. Yes. Then reduce river flow in long term and increase groundwater recharge. Okay, so you will find all these cases are the probable with this case groundwater recharge would be increased for. Then which of the following is correct about India's Antarctic presence? Maitri is India's second station. Maitri 1, that is basically second station. Bharti is located in East Antarctica and that is equally correct. Okay, so this way. Then which of the following are the potential tipping elements? Greenland ice sheet, yes, we have already discussed about it. Then Amazon rainforest, it is equally, and then coral reefs. Yes, coral reefs are the largest rainforest of the ocean, the largest ecosystem diversity in terms. You will find that is, and hence it is the answer basically all. Okay, D option is there, but answer is basically all. Arctic amplification is mainly due to ice albedo feedback. Yes, increased cloud cover. Yeah, that is not really case at least for the Arctic. So no, and ocean circulation changes, right? So even if you consider this 3 also, but 1 and 3 is not answer, I would rather go with the 1 only. Okay, so all of the above is not by any means is the the probable case. And now coming back to the most important point, right? Topic, that is SAIME. Now, sustainable aquaculture in mangrove ecosystem. Now guys, this is what this project is basically the Sundarbans, particularly the part of the Bangladesh, the Nature, Environment and Wildlife Society, news in partnership with the Global Nature Fund. Now here under this particular case, the ponds, lakes and other water bodies are to be developed in a way, okay, are to be developed in a way that the mangrove cultivation, its and its outcome basically, its its organic matter, its fertility, soil fertility should be used to promote a sustainable shrimp farming, okay, shrimp, or you may consider aquaculture production, okay. So chemical free, environment friendly, sustainable agriculture and practices needs to be engaged there in and around the Sundarban delta land basically, to ensure mangrove ecosystem to be very much fertile, very much ecosystem, very much resilient and equally very sustainable there. So 5 to 30% production rise is expected, just a bit change in the approach. What sort of tools have been adapted? Simply we are looking for organic fuel there, organic fertilizer there, chemical free utilization of fertilizer. Then you will find all mangrove plant and their bioecological services needs to be used in a way it should not be disastrous or harmful for this overall whatever small micro ecosystem, aquatic ecosystem in existence. And this is how this particular project is trying to develop. What are the benefits that then comes out of it? That advantage in terms of employment generation, in terms of resource fulfillment, in terms of ecosystem sustainability, in terms of sustainable agriculture, okay, shrimp farming or aquaculture you may consider, okay, tourism, all these are these are the outcome that then successively expecting that comes out of this. But remember, this project is incomplete. Yes, absolutely incomplete in the absence of community participation there. So this, like very good initiative can be replicated in our part of India as well, or in other parts of coastal states of the country also. So thus it is important from examination perspective. Okay? So now see, now have a better understanding on this case, because I am not going to give you practice question here. Yeah, we will be discussing here in the this particular session. So mangroves provide natural biofiltration, improving aquaculture productivity, correct? Then SAIME completely prohibits commercial aquaculture in these areas. No. Mangrove ecosystem contribute to coastal resilience against storm. Hence answer is 1 and okay. So this way. Next, planetary boundaries. Now, what this planetary boundaries, guys, you must have heard about national boundaries. National boundaries are man-made creations, man-made differentiation, demarcation between any two nations or countries or state or region, district, whatever, or even human, individual. So, just like there are planetary boundaries, but remember, these planetary boundaries are not physically present. They are something that you need to interpret. They are something that you need to intangibly understand, sense. Thus, these boundaries are simply those, if you break these boundaries, in particular 9, right? If you break them, you will then find the adverse impact on overall Earth as an ecosystem. It would rather lead to the total, the very problem for the life existence there on the surface, and hence we need to be so considerate of this planetary boundaries. Okay? So, which are those 9 boundaries? Biosphere integrity, climate change, novel entities, stratospheric ozone depletion, atmospheric aerosol loading, ocean acidification, freshwater use, biochemical flows, and land use system. Out of this 9, 6 have already been transgressed, meaning that the whatever peak limit could be there, we have already achieved. That is, a very critical stage when it comes to, yes, when it comes to the very process of the bioecosystems. So, bioecosystem. Okay, so planetary boundary is very important concept of ecological studies, because the way we are threatening, the way we are entering into this planet domain, we are already creating a lot of damage to it. So 3 boundaries are yet to be: ocean acidification, aerosol, stratospheric injections, but you will find those are in future, they are about to be transgressed in the near future. Okay? That is what the current affair with it. Now, so here the question that is expected then, okay, what are the indicators associated with those boundaries? Okay, like climate change. Climate change, atmospheric CO2 concentration is the best reflector. Biospheric integrity, species extinction rate, freshwater use, groundwater recharge, and chemical pollution, plastic concentration only. No, the chemical pollution basically is not that boundary as in, but yes, plastic concentration only is not that way. There are novel entities, how many you have introduced also. So answer is 1, 2 and 3. Okay, then. The next thing that is anyway in the frequently the current affairs, considering the current conflict war that is going on between Iran, Israel and America. So here you will find the frequent attack on the desalination point is really a human the rights violation, if I am not wrong. The reason being, for the Gulf countries in particular, this very high cost technology is rather life saving itself. So for Iran, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, UAE, Oman, and other few countries there, this is what the life-saving technology that has actually helped them to have a fresh water, a drinking water with them. And a frequent attack there on the desalination plant by either side is really dangerous, and thus it is in the current affairs. You probably would discuss this thing in the science and technology also, get to know about, but I feel that is equally important because it has environmental implications also. Okay? So this desalination technologies, you will find there are many, in fact, like thermal energy, where phase transformation is there, liquid to gas transformation, and then water evaporated that would be collected and salt would rather remain. Okay? So there are multi-flash system, multi-distillation, thermal vapor compression and various means as well. Then mechanical energy means where the most common is reverse osmosis, where pressure, high pressure system is intensively used for the passing of salt through this membrane. Okay? Apart from mechanical vapor compression, hydration, nanofiltration and secondary refrigeration, freezing. Then electrical energy, electrodialysis and capacitive deionization work, and chemical energy, ion exchange. Okay, so they are not going to ask you question how where exactly on this, but maybe that mention would be there. Now what is desalination? It means removal or no salinization. So there is absence of salt, that comes out of this process is desalination. So salty water or brackish water then rather makes a drinking water, that can be used for that purpose. That is a desalination process. For generally case, that is reverse osmosis is used to to ultimately bring out this particular condition, that to be for fresh water. But because now with the war, this is threatening and it is leading to environmental impact because this ecosystem is highly adversely affected because of this desalination plant and their attack as well. Okay, so that is leading to impact on oceanic salinity. It is leading to impact on ocean pollution, where the excessive salt is to be disposed of. Okay, there are many questions connection to the environment and that particular. Now consider the statement: thermal desalination relies on phase change of water. Yes, liquid gas. Reverse osmosis require high pressure to separate salts. Fine. Desalination plant always use renewable energy. Really? No. So that is not basically case. Answer is 1 and 2. Extreme statement. National Geothermal Energy Policy has been released by Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. Now India, as you can see, has 10.6 gigawatt of geothermal energy potential. What is geothermal energy? Geothermal energy is simply, you will find that energy difference between two geo or earth surface is then to be used for energy generation, that is geothermal energy. Geothermal energy. So this has to be extensively used. Now in India, we have identified 381 hotspot of geothermal energy, including Puga Valley in Himachal, Odisha, Chhattisgarh, or you will find there in Rajasthan, Gujarat and that particular region. Okay. Plus we have 10 geothermal energy provinces. So we have 10 geothermal energy provinces, making India very rich in terms of geothermal energy. However, world across you will find France, European energy, region, are very far ahead in terms of this geothermal energy. But what we are looking to produce this a renewable source of energy because we have committed for green pledges. We have already discussed NDCs. So we need to have that enough clarity over on this particular aspect. This is what geothermal energy map of India, and you can have, better understanding, because that would be asked. One thing I would like to add here, see, 100% of foreign FDI is equally allowed in geothermal energy exploration. Yeah, and that is why, because to promote technology transfer plus exploration of this energy. Plus, you will be getting some income tax benefits on, installation benefits, and accordingly, state government are equally allowed to, lose their norms, so that this just extensively. Okay? Then next is UPOV, or the International Union for the Protection of New Varieties of Plant. Way back in 1961 in Switzerland, Geneva, this UPOV was established with the very intention to promote innovative agriculture practices, to protect new plant varieties for the betterment of society. They are promoting agricultural innovation for the generation of new varieties, so that food security, employment generation, nutrition food security just will be ensured. And then you will find what this UPOV, or this International Union for Conservation of Nature, would rather be working in this domain. What tools they have adapted to ensure this new varieties are development and generation, like intellectual property rights, like legal conventions, also UPOV conventions are also. Pluto, variety database is equally been maintained by this UPOV in order to have this right understanding. Right. So it was in the news recently, because there was, that a potato and its variety issues was there, but that Indian farmers use these varieties, the seeds of varieties basically, for the next seeding cycle or cropping cycle equally, and that has led to, because that was very protected under the Patented Act, and it was basically given to other farmers so that they just could have their own production, and that has created a controversy. Yeah. Okay, so this UPOV is equally important, guys. You would have this understanding there in economics also, so have that clarity enough. Then UPOV promotes plant variety protection through intellectual property. Yes, it mandates countries to allow farmers to save seeds without restrictions. No, without restrictions, absolutely not. They cannot. Okay. Then India's PPV and FR Act balances breeders and farmers. Right. Answer is 1 and. Okay. So this way. Then Great Nicobar Island project, as you must be knowing, that is the very closer to the extreme south of India, Indra Point, right? So this Great Nicobar is anyway a biosphere reserve, and we have 70,000 crore rupees project here in the Great Nicobar region for the purpose of, this development. Yet that is the Niti Aayog proposed project. Take a Niti Aayog proposed project in 2021 to develop transshipment port. What is this transshipment port? It is simply where this is a large major port like Singapore, like Colombo, where large ship rather transport it, transfer its material to the small ships, and then it is transferred to the other destination, and the reverse or vice versa equally true. So transshipment hub, then Greenfield Air project. Yes, Greenfield Airport is to be built there. Then you will find a township, very extensive township to be developed there, and then a gas or solar power project, okay, is to be built. So under this Great Nicobar project, you will find this 4 are being proposed, and the thing is, it is, having a very geostrategic importance, because the Great Nicobar rather lies on, very close to east-west maritime transport route. So here it is currently dominated by Colombo, Singapore, and that major that way, right? And with the Gulf of Hormuz, this blockade, particularly significance can better be highlighted, because Malaccan Strait is equally choked, could be choked further in the future. Okay. So the government of India has this plan to develop this Great Nicobar port, using it for the further case. But the problem here is like few lakhs trees will be cut here. Okay. Plus have a huge impact on tribal, their identities, their culture, and overall damage. Plus the overall ecosystem, the invasive species would be introduced, leading to a great level of damage there in the Great Nicobar, and hence you will find this project is typically in the news. Recently, the very controversial NGT in 2026, early 2026 has given approval for this NGT project. It was very severely, was criticized. Okay? So now consider the case. It includes this about transshipment port and greenfield airport. Yes, it lies the proximity to international shipping route east-west, and it has a huge implication for indigenous tribal communities. Answer is all of the above. Next, E-flow or environmental flow. Now, what do you see, guys? It is a quantity, timing, and quality of aquatic or water flow in aquatic ecosystem to maintain its balance. See, in order to ensure aquatic ecosystem, there must be water flow. Without it, that cannot be ensured. So, in a river ecosystem, particularly that is flowing ecosystem, there it needs to have a consistent flow of water in terms of quality, quantity, and its timing equally. So that means summer, winter, and different times equally. So that ecosystem balances could be maintained. It is a very good indicator, and the strategy equally. Sorry, to work on the aquatic ecosystem and its balance. Okay, so that is what the concept of E-flow. Now have a question on it. E-flow, it is flow required for irrigation canal? No. For hydroelectric generation? No. To sustain riverine ecosystem and during monsoon? No. So that is regime, river regime anyway. So that is environmental concept leading with the riverine ecosystem and its sustenance. Okay. And then the next one is de-extinction. Now the concept of de-extinction, guys, see the name itself indicate. That is, it means removal of extinction, or again no extinction, meaning those species, those who have got extinct in the past, possibly when human was not there and possibly human was there equally, now we are trying to regenerate them. Because we have the means of fossils, the genes, DNA mapping, right, of those species, like the dire wolf, or that it was very famous for woolly mammoths, or you may find that the passenger pigeon. There are many species equally. What we are targeting basically for renewal or de-extinction, that we then, by means of their fossils, by means of their gene mapping, by means of their overall understanding, then would lead to some alteration in the present genes, right, or species gene, and would lead to a totally new variety that got extinct. Yeah, the recent case with the colossal bioscience company, what it had led to a de-extinction in the news, because the two dire wolves were basically got born just by the genetic alteration of the CRISPR-Cas9. Okay, CRISPR-Cas9 methodology, or you will even find somatic cell transfer and a nuclear cell transfer method. So where you will find here the genetic changes would rather be carried out in the species gene, and you then can have the de-extinction in reality. Yes, and maybe in further future, few methods would be identified and promoted, and hence you will find this process of de-extinction is very, very, very critical here. Now, woolly mammoth, as I already explained you, that is creating targeted for. Then the Tasmanian tiger, that is in Australia, and the passenger pigeon is equally targeted to be recovered. Okay. Then, so consider the following. It involves cloning or genetic engineering techniques. It can restore ecological balance without any risk. No, there are many risks attached with it. So no, and it raises ethical concerns. So answer is basically 1 and. Okay, 1 and this concept of ocean darkening, right? So where you will find, see, there in the ocean there are two zones, photic zone and aphotic zone. So photic, it means where light can penetrate, like up to depth of 200 meters, 200, 300 meters. Now, this zone is, since ancient times, it has continuously ready to receive this solar radiations and penetration. However, what happened now with the present level of this technology and human-led pollution, now 21% of ocean is darker, or it has got darker, meaning solar radiations are not freely able to penetrate deep into it, and leading to a very great damage to this overall ecosystem. Because if solar radiations are fail to penetrate, the whole ecosystem, 90% of ecosystem of the underwater sea ecosystem or ocean ecosystem would rather be at danger. Won't able to have nutrition, circulation, energy flow, photosynthesis, and all this activity. Okay, great problem. Okay, so I hope this concept is equally pretty much clear to. Okay, so these are all those important points, guys, which we have discussed in this particular series of 100 most important topics. I hope you have got it well. Okay, so you just go through all those things again and again if you feel so, right? And yes, try attempt your examination, try ensure your preparation with the mock test. Okay, so I wish you all the best. We will be meeting again in the next series, है ना? And yes, so this is what all about for the series. Thank you, have a good time.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.